A community organization in Marquette has taken another step this week in their effort toward improving the housing market in Marquette County. Last year, the Lake Superior Community Partnership undertook a massive effort to collect a wide variety of housing data in an effort to educate developers and local leaders about the realities of the local real estate market. Now, the LSCP has launched a website they hope will serve as a hub of information as they work on engaging the community as they work to turn information into action. My UP reporter Skylar Perkins met with Chris Germain, leader of the Lake Superior Community Partnership, for a look at the development and why he says it's not just buyers and sellers who could benefit.
For years, the Upper Peninsula has had a problem. While new and longtime residents need places to live, not many have been built.
Part of it was just this idea that we even had demand for housing. So that's what the TMA addressed, right? That first kind of step in the conversation, the demand's there.
Last year, the Lake Superior Community Partnership began its efforts to help fix that problem, first by undertaking a massive study on housing data, the results of which they say can be a big help to potential real estate developers.
You see the mismatch, right? So we got a huge supply of single-family detached housing, but demographics and changing needs suggest we actually need less of that and more townhomes, triplexes, quads.
But the buck doesn't stop there. Germain says knowing the specifics of local demand is just the first barrier to build. On top of that, Germain said antiquated zoning laws, slow adoption of new building practices, and a lack of access to state and federal funds also need to be tackled.
It just all kind of adds together to create this perfect storm of it's slow, it's expensive, and it's just hard to do because we have a labor shortage.
And then after all that, Germain said the biggest block of all may be coming from the house next door.
I promise you, a cottage development down the road is not going to destroy your neighborhood. It's going to actually make it more valuable.
He said while construction may be annoying in the short term, the payoff can be personal.
So that's the biggest driver, right? Even if you don't need a house, you want to see more housing built, right? Because someday you are going to need a house. You're going to outgrow your existing house, or you're going to find a nicer apartment or whatever, and you want it to be there when you're ready for that to happen.
As the LSCP plans to continue their Housing Now efforts through 2025, Germain said they're hoping to get locals on board to help advocate for new housing developments as they're proposed.
We're also going to release an engagement kit for any residents who are interested in becoming what we call Yes in My Backyard officials, right? So they want to really show up to the Planning Commission and advocate for new housing, because oftentimes, even once we can get through that really difficult part of building the capital stack and finding a way to somehow get down to here, something about it will anger somebody who's next to the development, right? And they'll rally their neighbors to kill it, at a planning commission meeting. So quite frankly, we have to be aggressive, right? Those of us who want more housing have to show up and say yes. And so that'll be the other big thing Housing Now will do, is arm people with that information. There's also areas for them to tell us their stories, right? So if they're looking for housing or they want to upgrade, we want those, because as we say right on the site, data develops policy, but stories sell policy.
In Marquette, I'm Skylar Perkins for My UP News.